हेलो 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 हाँ हेलो 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 हेलो
चेक चेक
अमनाज भाई चेक कर लो।
चेक 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 हेलो चेक हेलो 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 चेक हेलो चेक हेलो हेलो चेक हेलो चेक हेलो हेलो चेक हेलो चेक हेलो चेक चेक हेलो
वीडियो चला रहे हो क्या कुछ?
Yeah, please sit anywhere. Good morning everyone. Good morning everyone. Did anybody recognize the song that was playing? Somebody must. The Godfather, right? So I represent Sustainability Mafia. We are an organization of 60 leading climate tech founders all across India. That's why we exist, to make founders of climate action companies more successful together than we would be otherwise. We run a lot of programs. We are about a 3.5-year-old non-profit organization, and we run a lot of programs. And today I'm super excited to launch our latest, newest, and I believe what would be one of our most impactful programs, in partnership with some amazing partners who are all here on the stage. Thanks to Mobius Foundation for enabling this, and to all of you for being here. So I'd like this session to be very interactive. The advantage of small rooms is that you don't have to be formal. Very interactive. Everybody has a voice, and so please exercise that voice. So we'll start with a few questions. I'd like you to just clap your hands twice if you agree with the following statements. Okay? After every statement, if you agree, clap your hands twice. India must be a global leader in climate entrepreneurship. India has some of the most brightest and most passionate students. India has some of the best universities anywhere in the world. Little bit less, but the key word there is some of the best. India has one of the least enabling environments for entrepreneurs. Founders are great educators and enablers. Last two questions. Entrepreneurship is exciting. Last question. You personally would feel happy if you could enable and support the growth of a climate action company. Great, so I'm glad you're all in the room. You are all in the right room because you can take action today. We are collectively embarking on a very meaningful and impactful journey together. And our goal is to create 100 sustainability ventures within the next 3 to 5 years from leading Indian universities. These are 100 companies that would otherwise not exist. That's our goal. And today we are starting on that journey. This is the first time we are talking about this in a public domain. There's been about 4 months of very, very intense prep going into this. So very excited to have you all here. And to understand why this is important, I'm just going to start with two stories. And then I'm going to introduce the people who are here. The first story is of a girl called Priyanshi. She is now a professional, but she's from a lower middle class family. Studied extremely hard, topped her school, went to IIT Delhi. One of the brightest thermal engineering people that I know. And she worked really hard, got into IITs, did her bachelor's, did her master's, worked 2 jobs while she was a student to support her family. She created a technology for thermal energy storage, which we really need to be able to cool India sustainably. Thermal energy storage. Very, very exciting, impactful technology. She's a technologist, like a hardcore engineer. Never thought of taking that technology to actually do anything with it. That technology, that innovation is dead. She never got a chance to form a team. She never even thought about the chance of creating a business around that technology. The opportunity to create a team, bringing like-minded people on her path, because she thought, I'm a technologist, I can't really create a business. That's not my job, that's somebody else's job. Never found an enabling environment, an encouraging person, an encouraging professor or ecosystem to say, we are here to support you. You have something really valuable. This is a technology that can solve one of the most biggest problems and opportunities for India to cool itself sustainably and grow. So she had to abandon, and she had pressure from her family as well to take up a job that pays well, because entrepreneurship means risk, and a lot of people cannot take that risk. In the absence of confidence that, after graduating PhD, 10 years of study, you're going to get paid. So she abandoned her dreams and joined McKinsey, And within 2 years, McKinsey took her to another country. So she's no longer in India. She's no longer working on the cooling technology that she created for 10 years. And yeah, we've lost that opportunity. So that's story number one. Story number two is of another guy that I know. His name is Kevin Kung. Kevin Kung is from Canada. He moved to the US and got into MIT. He went there as an undergrad, master's. His entire education was funded. He didn't have to pay a single dollar for it. He spent 10 years in MIT, failure after failure after failure in terms of technology development. However, every year he got new support from another institute coming and say, hey, we've got money for you for another year, just keep going. Because the problem statement you're working on, which is of converting agricultural residue into a fuel, is a really impactful problem statement. So it doesn't matter if you're failing 1 year and the next, we'll keep supporting you on this journey. Year 6, he took a course called MIT Energy Ventures. In that course, and this guy is also a hardcore technologist just like Priyanshi. He didn't know anything about business, but he took this course, and in this course, he met 3 other people who were very good at what he was not good at. He's a technologist, another guy was really good at business, another guy had a consulting background, very good at strategy, and another girl was very good at marketing and sales. So they formed a team in the class, and over the next 3 years, they built out the business plan. Actually, at the end of that 3-month course of MIT Energy Ventures, they won $100,000 to incubate their company, start their company, which gave them fuel, which did not distract them from their path of innovation to create that company. That company became Takachar, which Bill Gates wrote about 2 weeks ago on LinkedIn. And that company won the first Earthshot prize from the Prince of UK. And that company is now scaling up really well. So why am I telling you these 2 stories? One story is of the Indian entrepreneur, the Indian innovator, not even entrepreneur, whose dreams never see reality. They just remain ideas, they never come to life. So we lose that person as an innovator and entrepreneur forever. It's very difficult to come back from a consulting job after 12 years. And we lose the opportunity to take that technology of thermal energy storage, which today could have been flourishing, and we don't have it. Right? And we lose the person to another country, and we don't innovate for India to solve our problems. On the other hand, the person gets all the support that they need to take their idea, form a team around it, get the funding support, get the discipline support. The entire ecosystem is there to enable them. Here, the entire ecosystem is there to make our best minds fail rather than succeed. So, what we want to do with this program, Sustainability Ventures, which is why you are all here, is to change that, is to make more stories like Kevin and less stories like Priyanshi coming out of India in partnership with leading Indian universities. So, if that strikes a chord with you, we would love to keep you engaged and to enable this transition from where we are today to where we need to go. All of you said India has to be a hotbed of innovation. You would like to see more companies coming out of India, and that's why we are here. So, we have this today's session in 2 parts. The first one is an interaction with the people over here, who are all participants in this journey that we are trying to create. And then the second part is for you all to, break into smaller groups, maybe 4 groups, and come out with how you want to engage on a continued basis with this initiative. So, I'm not going to really introduce everybody one by one, because you'll get to know people while they're speaking. But, I'll just go down there and start speaking now. So first, can you still hear me? Yeah. So first, we have Jay. Jay, I took 2 institutions' names, MIT and IIT, and I had experience in both. Jay leads the makerspace in IIT Delhi. And we'd like to ask him some questions about sustainability entrepreneurship. That's the topic. How do we create 100 new sustainability companies out of Indian colleges? So Jay, give us a sense of the 2 different ecosystems that you have experienced. The one in MIT, the one in IIT. What do you see as the impactful actions that we need to take today to enable more companies to come out of Indian colleges? Especially you can talk about IIT Delhi and share your experience. Thank you.
Thanks. How much time? Short. Right. So hi. Yeah. So what I would like to talk about is, what Arjun said a little while ago about, India could be leading this space in sustainability ventures, but I would say in general in sustainability, what really drives me towards sustainability is that we need to solve this problem for the world. And so there are, I think, 2-3 things. I mean, since I have to keep it short, there's a lot to say. One is that, we need to understand climate science well. Many of us know, yeah, something needs to be done, but whatever little we do, how is it connected to solving the bigger problem? I don't think most of us know this. What is this 1.5 degree limit, and things like that. Secondly, we need to think of the world in terms of its bigger picture. It's not just about doing some venture and making some money. How does it help solve this problem? So in terms of macro side, which country did most of these emissions come from, which countries, which sectors are responsible for most emissions, a lot of things we need to know. Apart from that, I would also say that we also need to think of those disruptive big bang ideas to solve these problems. Energy efficiency is important, solar, wind is also important, and we are doing our bit, but we need to think about some disruptive. For instance, there was recently a paper, if we grow enough trees, we'll solve this problem. But is it even theoretically it is possible? Secondly, maybe you may not have heard of, there are some ascetics who live between us in Delhi, all over India, who don't use any energy at all from a very long time, even now. Energy, minimal water, minimum stuff, no energy for transport. So if we follow them, even 50% of it will solve this problem. So likewise, there are a lot of those other things that we need to think about. And climate change is one thing, definitely it's important, but we need to look at it in terms of a philosophy also, like environmental thinking. That is, are human beings here to exploit the planet to whatever they want, or they're just a part of this ecosystem? So because these changes happen at a very small, very slow time scale. And so, but now what has happened is, that we use all this stuff, we need buildings for shelter, transport, products, food, all that. That is causing these environmental impacts, which is affecting our health. And so we are concerned. So I think there is a whole lot of all these things that we need to think of. I don't know, I'll probably stop here for now and then I'll come back.
Thanks, Jay. I have a couple of specific questions for you.
Sure.
So, you're representing IIT Delhi, one of the premier research institutes in the country, with a lot of innovative spirit. We all hear about startups that have come from IIT Delhi in the SaaS space and this space and that space. Question is, how can IIT Delhi, within the next 2 years, churn out at least 50 impactful climate companies? What is IIT Delhi already doing to do that? And if you look at an organization like Sus Mafia, which is a community of founders, and the program of sustainability ventures that we are kicking off, how can IIT Delhi collaborate and partner on that initiative to create 50 climate companies? Not just SaaS and this and that, but solving real problems here.
Sure. I would say IIT, so our former director, Professor Ram Gopal Rao, he said if you talk of what is the difference between IIT Delhi and IIT Bombay, you would just joke, he said IIT Delhi is in Delhi and IIT Bombay is in Bombay. So, but I think besides that, what is the USP that IIT Delhi has? What is talked about is the entrepreneurship ecosystem that exists at IIT Delhi. And one of those markers could be, say, the number of unicorns that have come out of IIT Delhi. That's the most that have come out from any Indian institute. Out of, I think I read 100 of them, about 30 of them were from IIT Delhi at some point in time. So we are good at, creating ventures. That's one side to it. Second side is our current director, Professor Rangan Banerjee. He is a energy sustainability guy. And so IIT Delhi is undergoing this curriculum review. It has a curriculum review every 10 years. And so the ambition that we have is that every course that is taught at IIT Delhi needs to have a sustainability component in it. So some of the faculty are like, what does sustainability have to do with coding? Or what does sustainability have to do with this or that, or UI UX or something? It has to do with everything. So now what you're saying is, now how does this come together? So, I mean, 10 years ago when I was working in for a competition at IIT Bombay, it's like these were two things that either you can do sustainability or ventures. You can't do both because, you know, the bottom line is money. But now I think is the time that we realize that, you know, there are health issues and, you know, cost-wise also we can look at it, and now the climate impacts are evident. But what I'll say is that we are IIT Delhi is very serious about, you know, considering sustainability. If you just Google our directors, you know, he gave an interview to some news, Times of India or Indian Express. So 3 things that we think of for IIT Delhi with the new curriculum are sustainability, flexibility in our curriculum, and project-based learning. So that means sustainability everybody should understand, and then there should be flexibility to be able to work in any space to be able to solve a problem, and then getting that project-based learning through places like Makerspace to churn out these ventures. And so I think there is this possibility, and I agree, Arjun, that, you know, I think it is still not focused enough, and with this energy ventures or programs like this, it could fast track some of these, you know,
Great.
innovations. Yeah.
Thank you. I think that's a really good news. Let's give a round of applause here. You know, a place like IIT Delhi with a director who's passionate about sustainability and people like you leading maker spaces. I think a lot of times it's the individuals that matter. So looking forward to collaborating with you in the future. While we are on IITs, I would like to invite Professor Vimal to share his views. And Professor Vimal, if I could ask you a couple of specific questions as well. First is, you know, what is your personal relationship with sustainability, with new venture creation? Any history there, any inclination there? So one is about you. And then second is, you know, you've been in 3 IITs, right? Across your last, you know, decade or 2. And also Technical University of Denmark. You've also had a variety of experiences. Do you see a lot of technologies in these IITs, right, which are relevant for sustainability, which are struggling to be turned into businesses, right? Technology is there, but not being converted into a real business. Do you see that gap? Do you see those technologies available in these IITs that have the potential of being turned into companies?
Yeah, thanks, Arjun. I would like to introduce myself. I am a professor in Department of Chemical Engineering at IIT Guwahati, and also heading as a Dean R&D of IIT Guwahati. Arjun, you correctly you pointed out that what is my role, especially associated to this particular kind of sustainability venture. So I thought years ago, a decade ago, and I would like to tell you, as IIT Delhi is doing a lot in this, but IIT Guwahati had forecast even in 2000, early 2000, and the fact that in 2013 we established a Center of Excellence on Sustainable Polymers. And the mandate of this center was to develop a bio-based biodegradable plastics. So in fact, it is not the IIT Guwahati who thought about it, but at the same time the government also thought about, because the center has been given by the government of India, and the mandate for a bioplastic and biodegradable plastics. So I mean to say IIT Guwahati has a good connect on this. We started thereafter, you know, after the journey of establishing these Center of Excellences on Sustainable Materials, Center of Excellence on Sustainable Polymers, Center of Excellence on Sustainable Waters, and thereafter in 2020 we established an academic, academic program on academic program for masters and PhD degrees at IIT Guwahati, especially on sustainable polymers. And I would like to, I'm more than happy to tell you that we are the first institute in the India who have introduced the course on sustainable development goals in an undergraduate curriculum. So in the second year, BTech second year, because we understood that if you really would like to work on the sustainability and all these, the 17 SDGs, and especially bringing a technology which is the knowledge or the technologies which are really going to be useful for a common man, then these all different disciplines has to work together, and they should understand the basic concept of the sustainability and sustainability technology, sustainable technology within their course curriculum. And more important, they have to integrate themselves so that they can cook a kind of a technology what we are really looking forward. that is really very much challenging for all of us, that though we are very good in a particular in a specialized domain, but if we really would like to come up with a comprehensive or integrated technology, we are a bit slow in it. That has to be strengthened. When I'm speaking this, I'm speaking in the student perspective or those who are cooking the technologies. And so this is the one that we are doing a lot. And if I really holistically, if I looking about the sustainable technologies or sustainable enterprises, we have to have three things in one mind. One is the social sustainability, economic sustainability, as well as the environmental sustainability. That these concept has to be brought into during the journey of the in the course curriculum, so that these technocrats, they have to brought those component into while cooking while coming up with the new technologies. So that's very important. Right. Like understanding of the carbon footprint, or when we are coming up with the new technology, that's very important. And most importantly, as it has been stated, that the cost is a major factor for bringing a technology onto the floor. The fact that the institution like us, we do a lot of research, but most of the research are curiosity based research, but now we have to come together and come up with a demand driven research. And those demand driven research, that will be really going to be societal impactful research, and that will make more value to the society. That is the one. And the second is the economics. Now the mindset of the stakeholders should also be changed. It should not be limited only to see cradle to gate approach. Now the time has come, we have to see cradle to cradle approach. And when we see these LCA, we really could able to find many technology what we really felt that it is economically not viable. In reality, it is there, and it is more sustainable technologies. So the mindset of other stakeholders should also be changed. I will speak more later on.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think the two concrete things that I'm taking away here, you said a lot of valuable things, but two. One is you developed this biodegradable plastic center. It's been there for 20 years?
It's around for last 9 years.
9 years. Yeah. Any companies come out of that?
There are many.
Many. Great. So I think that kind of center is a perfect place to look for technologies around which new businesses can be created. So that's one. Second, you talked about demand-driven research. I think that's one of the approaches that we are championing in our program of sustainability ventures. We are actually taking real problem statements, okay, from the experience of actual founders in the space, and seeding these classes with real problem statements. Build around this. This is the real industry problem or people problem, or in the realm of sustainability, and the teams will be building business plans around those real problem statements which are there today. So I appreciate those 2 points. Thank you so much. Next, I'm going to call upon two really I would call them like amazing leaders who have put their hand up to partner with Sustainability Mafia on the program of sustainability ventures, and we'll hear about them, what their universities stand for, why are they excited about this program, and what it means for them, right? So first I'll call upon Tarun from Masters Union. Masters Union, I'll just give a quick intro so you can skip that part. Masters Union is basically an extremely innovative and leading business school. It's based right out of Gurgaon. And I think a couple of things that I remember from the introduction. One is that it's basically the Harvard of India in terms of MBA. Their placements are more than IIM Ahmedabad and more than ISB for the last 2-3 years. It's only a 3-year-old MBA like campus, but doing extremely well. And I think you'll find out when Tarun speaks of why they are doing so well, because they have people like Tarun. So Tarun, please share your thoughts on the Sustainability Ventures program, and you can introduce yourself and this one as well.
Thanks, Arjun, for the kind words. I think no pressure now. So I think about me, I'm a chemical engineer from IIT Bombay, and I think that one of the differences between Delhi Bombay is what Professor J mentioned. A couple more, but I'll directly jump into the conversation that we've been having with Sustainability Mafia around this whole program of sustainability ventures and how we are incubating it at Masters Union. So skipping the placements and all those parts, I think one of the key essence that we believe in is that one is that if you really want to promote something, it has to create enough incentives for everybody into it. So while all of us have noble thoughts about doing good for the environment, but people will not do it unless they see personal value in it for them, and that's practical. Because today, if a student is enrolling into a master's program at, let's say, Masters Union or any MBA college or any of the business schools for that matter, the topmost thing on their mind is they have to pay AMIs, they have to get a job and all of that. And unless you see value, and unless sustainability is not equated with non-profit work and just social cause, you will not see mass adoption on it, right? We'll always see work happening in niches, we'll always see work happening in fringes. But to make it mainstream, to actually bring 100 companies out there, we have to show students that you can make sustainable, profitable ventures in this space. And that's the work that we want to do. We want to make it more mainstream and not as a social cause, not as a moral obligation for anybody, right? So in that light, one of the things that we've been pursuing for last 3 years, and this year we want to give it a twist with Sustainability Mafia, is a program called Venture Initiation Program. So at Masters Union, the way it works is that only 50% of the total credits for any learner is based on their in-class courses. The remaining 50% is actually based on outclass of stuff that they do outside the classrooms, which is about creating a venture. And we've seen amazing success in this overall. But one of the pieces that has been missing in this over the last 3 years is that we have seen very little or almost no large scale company come out of this in the last 3 years in this space. So we have seen amazing apps that have gone on Shark Tank, raised close to $1 million. We have seen a lot of startups in SaaS. We've seen a lot of startups in food and beverages. So almost every sector but climate tech. And when I was speaking to learners at campus, one of the reasons that I could perceive was this, that when they think about sustainability, when they think about climate tech, there are two big inhibitions in their mind. One is about, okay, I'm not a tech guy, I'm not a technology guy, so I don't know deep tech to be able to do something meaningful in this, which I'm able to break to a certain extent because I am a technology guy. I've spent 5 years doing chemical engineering at IIT Bombay, and I knew that you don't need a very deep tech knowledge to disrupt the industry. Right? You can always collaborate and work that piece out. As long as the interest is there, as long as the support of the ecosystem is there, right? And second was this, that is the market hot, right? We've had phases where fintech was hot, we've had phases where edtech was hot, and so on and so forth. Sadly, climate tech was not hot, even as the climate kept getting hotter and hotter. So I think I was talking to Saksham yesterday, and he mentioned that a lot. Right now, we've started to see a lot of that interest. And I would like to share next week, actually 24th September, we have a mixer planned at Masters Union where we are inviting a lot of VCs and founders who are interested in this space to interact with students and kind of break also that barrier that this is one space that's picking up, right? So I think on sustainability ventures, going back to the VIP program that I was talking about, what we want to do this year is even before the students start picking up on what problems they want to solve, on what areas or what startups they want to build in these 6 months or 8 months that they're on campus, we want them to interact with as many founders in this space that they can. We want them to interact with as many stakeholders in this space that they can. And one of the things that students are most clueless about is what problem to pick on. And if we can seed them with the right problems of saying, hey, here is this problem, here is the support system that you can have, and here is somebody that you can talk to who has already traded on that journey. I think that open-ended, unstructured environment, that ecosystem is what we will try to provide with Sustainability Mafia over the next 6 to 8 months for our learners. And I think that would create actual companies, then let's say any theoretical course or any structured effort to kind of do that. So that's the thought that we have.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Tarun. I'll just build on what he said. So basically, Masters Union is our first partner. Let's give them a round of applause. And it's like true to startup speed. From the first conversation till conclusion that we are doing this, it was like a month. In 1 month, the whole course is envisioned, the faculty, what it's going to take, who's going to do what, already set, and we are kicking it off in November. So November is the first class of sustainability ventures. When I'd spoken to Dr. Rambhuj 2-3 months ago, it was only a concept on paper. We didn't know what we were talking about. And now we have two partners, the first of whom you just heard. And I think I'll just lay out what it is. We are going to curate classes. This is a real class that is for credit taught in Masters Union to their students. It's going to be about a 1 to 2 month duration class, and then the venture initiation program. We are going to put real problem statements in the class, form teams of students who are going to work throughout that class and the program on that problem statement. We are going to provide guest speakers from outside, including founders, investors, VCs, so that they actually get one-on-one interaction and mentorship from these people, industry experts, to help them build the business plan. The class itself is actually a very structured way to teach entrepreneurship in a disciplined manner. So how do you form a team? How do you create a go-to-market strategy? How do you create a sales plan? How do you acquire your first customer? How do you build a business plan? The end of the class results in a real business plan around the problem statement. And at the end of the class, we are going to host a business plan competition, which is going to be, there are going to be donors and investors there. So you pitch your business plan, either you get a grant to continue further, or you get investment to just start the business right away. So with this program, we are going to break a lot of barriers that prevented Priyanshi from taking her idea forward to creating a company. Right? Most of the barriers are going to be broken with this entire plan that we have. Masters Union, thank you for partnering with us. Now I'll move on. I'll move on to another leader, very interesting gentleman, Sachin from BITS. And BITS, we all know, is one of the leading universities in India, and very high profile alumni, excellent education. And Sachin has been doing a great job there. He leads the venture creation, incubation, innovation ecosystem across all 4 BITS campuses. He has been able to mobilize around 80 crores of funding for BITS for the purpose of innovation and venture creation. And Sachin, when we spoke to him, he was immediately excited by the idea about working on sustainability ventures. And he, even a very large institute like BITS, not easy to get everybody aligned. But in a very short time, he's been able to identify faculty across campuses who are very excited about this. Think about the structure in which the course is going to be delivered, and offer his personal time to help us make this a reality. So thank you so much, Sachin, and please, if you could share your thoughts. We know BITS has an innovation space, but how is BITS going to be known for sustainability venture creation over the next 2 years, right? And how you are excited about this partnership. Over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Arjun. And my job is a little easy because I think all the panelists have already spoken about what we need to do to create these ventures in climate action. So I'll take the liberty to summarize this also. So my job involves working with young students and PhD and faculty members if they want to create enterprises. And what I've learned is, you require 3 or 4 things. If you have to create a venture that will catch the eye of investors and become sustainable. First is, of course, skill and knowledge. I think in terms of what you want to build, how you want to build. I think students at BITS, IITs, and Masters Union, I think they have the skills. They acquire knowledge through the journey of their program at the campuses. Second, I think what they require is a little application in terms of problem. I think Arjun spoke about that. Sometimes in areas such as climate action, this is a very deep technical area. But how many in this room know Greta Thunberg? Right? She's a 15-year-old, right? What she did was she was able to make it so I would say commonplace. Words such as climate change, sustainability, greenhouse gases. But if you go a layer deeper, that is where the problem starts. These essentially, a lot of these issues, related to water, related to air, related to pollution, are little technical in nature. And this is one of the things that is stopping a lot of ventures to come forward, because building software is very easy. You can go for 1 week and do coding and you can create like a Flipkart kind of app. But if you have to solve for water pollution or emission in terms of carbon, or making yourself carbon neutral, I think you have to think a lot, and you have to apply technologies, and then you have to go through the entire research that has to be proven and tested. So it takes a lot of time. So what you need is, you need guidance and you need money, and both these things are very difficult to find. The government is doing a great job in terms of providing grants. They have multiple schemes. We are beneficiary of that. We take the money from government and disburse to the students who have bright ideas. But what we lack is mentoring and guidance. So with the Sustainability Venture Program, we get access to these experts who have done this, who know this journey. So when the problem meets the opportunity, and that I think that magic is what we are trying to create. The students who are studying at BITS, when they take this course with a clear intention of forming a venture, they will have funding at the end of it. They will have guidance throughout the program, and also later in terms of internship, or if they want to join a startup which is climate tech based. So I think we will create capacity in terms of students who are willing to do something for the climate change. It may not happen immediately, but I think what we have seen in the previous courses that we have been running, somewhere down the line, this spark, gets created in this, and then that ignites when they have more knowledge or resources or network. So that's what we're trying to do. And in fact, very similar course we have been running from 2008, which is called a New Venture Creation course. It's very similar to what we're doing, but it's general, it's broad. And sorry to say, the kind of projects or the startups that get formed after this are again all tech based. Software. People are just thinking to make buyer and seller meet, in various things. Either this or that or that, and that is where the funding is flowing. So students are not wrong. Also, you should see where the funding is flowing. We talked about unicorns. Out of 110 unicorns, I think we have 110 unicorns. 95% of them are all software based. Very few are hardware based. So the funding is less. The time to build these technologies is very, very long. These are biotech based solution, science based solution, or engineering based solutions, which take a lot of time. So with this sustainability venture program or course, I think it's a very, very small step that we're taking to build a cadre of entrepreneurs or thinkers or innovators who will eventually solve this problem, somewhere in their life.
Thank you for that perspective. I think, both of these colleges' stories are very interesting, because they both already had venture initiation and creation programs, right? And they have an established way to encourage students to start businesses. And what we are doing with them is to make sure that the brightest students come and work on sustainability, and we help improve the programs or accentuate the programs with real founders and our network experience. So we also have Rohit here. Rohit Rajput is sitting right there. He's one of our donors for the Sustainability Ventures program, the first donor that we have. So thank you, Rohit. So it allows us to actually put some resources behind it and create this whole plan. Anyway, we've heard from 4 universities, but as I mentioned, the journey only starts in the university, right? You create a business plan, and now what does every team need? They need to have the confidence that whatever plan they have, they're going to earn money from it, right? They're not just going to stop there. Otherwise, our objective of creating 100 new companies is not going to be met, right? Everybody's very kind of, there's a lot of job opportunity today in consulting, in banking, in tech, but we want people to stick to the path of entrepreneurship, which is hard and uncertain. So a very important follow-on from sustainability ventures in universities is the role of incubators. And what we have next, we have Shreyanshi here from one of the leading sustainability incubators, which is Sangam. And if you could share about what we are talking about, right? New venture creation from universities. You've worked with a lot of new ventures that have come out of universities. So how do you see yourself collaborating specifically with the Sustainability Ventures program, new companies that are created either from Masters Union or BITS? What do you see yourself doing? What time do you think you should be engaging? And how do you think you can enable the companies and plans that come out?
Thank you, sir, Arjun. So I'll just talk a little bit about Sangam. So Sangam is a clean tech incubator. We are also a fund investing in the area of climate change. So we have been there like since for the last more than 5 years now in this space, and we've worked with more than 200 companies in the climate space till now. And it has been an interesting journey of working with founders, because we were from the very start, we were very clear about this, that we didn't want to work just with software companies. We wanted to support like more and more hardware technologies, though the gestation period is very large for these companies, but we wanted to support them from early on. So all the investments that we also have done from Sangam are mostly in the hardware space, and also from the incubator, the companies that we support are mostly from the areas of energy transition. We've also started now looking at land restoration to see more soil, more carbon that could be put inside the soil, and we have also now started to look at circular economy as also one of the new areas that all of this together should help in creating a more inclusive economy is what our understanding has been. We have been working with founders from early start. So once they have built a prototype and they want support in terms of building the technology further so that they could pilot it, so we start supporting them from that stage onwards and help them in terms of like very early on. We also help them in formation of the company, and then help them understand like who their customers are, and who are like what kind of customer are they targeting, then how they can work on the product development, and finally ultimate goal is to reach product market fit. That's the stage we have been working on till now, but we have realized that it is very important to early engage with not after the startups have been formed, but also early on with students. That's the reason why we've started looking at from our side that programs we could initiate so that we could actually plant that idea of climate inside students minds, so that even as early as school, so that they understand whatever they are building should have an impact on climate, and also to have that understanding that okay, if I build something, what is the carbon mitigation potential. So those are the very small ideas we want to put inside the minds of the students and entrepreneurs who wants to come and work in the climate field. And definitely in this the venture program that you want to start with students, I think we can definitely help and support, because we provide the students and the entrepreneurs with a lot of mentorship and guidance. So we have a huge network of mentors that we provide to the students and entrepreneurs in terms of technical mentors as well as business mentors. So that's our entire objective, that they get the required support that they need for their venture to succeed. So yeah, definitely we can help.
Great, thank you. So, this is something that you can see here. I mean, in a matter of 2-3 months, we got a donor to support the program, universities to take up the program, incubator ready to support the companies that come out. So now the real question is, what are you going to do, right? How are you going to get involved? So that's the next kind of session we're going to have. We started this by saying we have the best students, we have really good universities, founders can play a really good role in enabling. We are not doing enough to support the ecosystem and enable the ecosystem. So, now is the chance. I'm just going to lay out some simple math. This 100 new ventures is not just a number 100 because it's a good number, but how are we going to get to 100? 6 universities, we already have 2 courses per year, 3 ventures per class, and 3 years to do it. That's how we get to 108. Maybe 8 of them don't come out, but at least 100 new ventures. That's how we create them. And the roles that the important parts of this is seeding the classes with the right problem statements and technologies. That is one. Creating the right teams with interdisciplinary capability. like Professor mentioned from Guwahati, that sometimes it's just the inventor, but where's the business mind coming in, who's telling what the market really needs? Like, you need a collaborative approach, so that formation of the right kind of teams to create real businesses. Third is for them to learn from real practitioners on what does this look like, right? If you want to start a company, people would have no idea if you're a student, right? What does it entail? What is step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? That's where the course comes in. And then after the course, enablement. You have a business plan, it's realistic. How do you take it to market? You need money, you need mentors. So what we're going to do in the next segment of this conversation is that you can align with any one of these themes. We're going to have one of the speakers join you to talk about any one of these themes where you find a fit, right? So if you can help with curation of problem statements, right? Maybe you're from industry and you know that, okay, my factory has this problem related to sustainability. Or maybe you're a founder and I'm working on this problem, but I can also see 3 other problems that businesses should be created around. So that's one group, okay? And I would request Professor Tarun to kind of, meet with that group and discuss. Just come up with some ideas. What are real problem statements? And how do we continuously bring problem statements to sustainability ventures? So who would like to participate in this, the problem statement? Okay, quite a few of you. That's really good. You have a question? I'll come to you in a minute. If that group could meet here, because I think a lot of people from that were here. So here's the problem statement group, and Professor Tarun will do that. Who would like to be in the mentorship group? Because mentors are required, right? How do you create a plan and all that? So Arjun over here is a SAS Mafia company. Thank you. Okay, mentorship group, hands up. Okay, so I would request the mentorship group to be in that corner, and perhaps I can ask Shreyanshi yourself, and also Sachin, if you could join that. Both of you could join that, the mentorship one. All right. Next is funding, right? We need to bring money at various stages for these companies, right? Whether it's a grant or it's a loan or it's an equity investment. So who would like to think about and help with the funding aspect? People in the room interested to think through that problem statement? Rohit? Okay, we've got about 5-6 people there. So Rohit, if you could be on this side of the room. As I mentioned, Rohit is one of our early donors in the program. And if I could request Professor Vimal, if you could participate in that, that'll be wonderful. So we'll do that for about 15 to 20 minutes. And your objectives are very simple. Concrete ideas for Sustainability Ventures program, right? Either sourcing technologies, funding, your mentorship, concrete ideas on what you have today. And if you want to participate in that, right? You yourself want to participate, we would love to know. We're not going to leave you. We're going to be after you to support us in our mission. So those are the things that we would want. 15 minutes, and then whoever is helping the groups will come back and share what you guys discussed. So we'll do that for 15 minutes. Yes. Before that, we have a comment here. Yes, please. Yes, please.
Good morning to everyone present here. So honestly, it's really inspiring for me to attend this session from an audience point of view, because here we're bringing together environmental literacy, which is something that I work on as an individual. I'm a student environmentalist, and I've been spreading environmental literacy in many parts of India, going in many schools. But then we're also linking that to the entrepreneurship aspect. But as a 10th grader myself, I would like to ask all of the dignitaries that are sitting here, how is it that we can inspire school students from a nascent stage to get into sustainability ventures before they even enter college, so that they can be motivated to start from an early stage? If any of you could answer.
I think that's a tough one, but I'll go ahead and take it. So I think, and I'll take an example of something that we recently did around 6 months ago, and that was the first time I also got exposed to the kind of potential that school students have. So we recently ran a CEO challenge, which was for students in 11th and 12th grade, so pretty much the age group that you were talking about. and this sort of inspired from Shark Tank, so very similar model where they're supposed to come and present their ideas. And it was very interesting to kind of see the ideas that they came up with. But not only that, in some cases, like yourself, they had actually gone ahead and did the work to a certain extent. And very few of them were from sustainability as a space, but I think what we can do is, as more and more successful companies come out of this space, like I think Sachin he was mentioning that current unicorns that are being celebrated are actually tech startups or mobile apps or marketplaces. If tomorrow you have another 100 unicorns, let's say next couple of years, which are from this space, I think the students today are so exposed, are so aware that they themselves will pick it up. And you will see that the next time you give them a platform like this, they will talk about ventures, they will talk about ideas which are in this space, and they will actually have places to go intern with, they will actually have places to go work with, where they can then learn, you know, it in a more hands-on way. So I think two things. One is just creating more and more ventures in this space and making them more successful, more celebrated, and B, just enabling a platform where these students can come and interact with these founders, these companies, and maybe do a small internship or you know, just like a outing with these people.
So what we could also suggest in this space, as my suggestion would be that even there could be early admission programs into top universities, which could be celebrating entrepreneurship, which I believe happens in bits. I think I've participated in one of those programs. So I'm really happy that those programs could be brought further and strengthened so that they could actually turn into real ideas as well. So thank you. Thank you for your views and ideas. Thank
Can
you.
I just make a very quick comment?
Yes, please.
So, just to make a very quick comment. So, IIT Delhi ran a program called Change Makers, a summer boot camp last summer. Although it was generic, that you know, the students form teams and they come up with a problem statement, and then we help them with the design thinking process, and then they come up with some prototype which they exhibit. It's a month-long program which was super successful. So we are thinking of a Change Makers version 2.0. So that was for 11th, 12th graders. So you could look that up, and maybe you know, that is something that could be taken.
I would also like to add
Yes,
a
please.
few things. Like at IIT Guwahati also, we are working with the state government, especially for school kids. And in fact, if this year we talk about more than 10,000 students has been trained, and they visited the campus, not only the students but also the teachers. Those who are science teachers, we are educating them towards the innovations, so that they can go back and then teach the students. The question is very important. Like when we talk about the entrepreneurship, it doesn't mean that one should have a appropriate knowledge. So one thing I would like to tell you, the most important is the idea. The second is that to thought process to serve to the society. So even the kids can also think on those, that has to be brought in the curriculum, that what we are really going to address to the society, and from there the problem has to be picked up, and these problems has to be addressed. I mean to say, there are different groups, ventures, to the students can go and then discuss. As Arjun has made these 4 groups, that clearly indicates that you need not to be master in all. You have to figure it out where to reach and who will help you. I think this is also very important to teach to the students, so that they can find their partners and they can proceed.
Yeah, thanks for making that point. I totally agree. You don't have to be everything yourself. Sure. Be a part of a team. Sorry, yeah, we have
one
more
more
comments.
sentence I just remembered.
Great question.
So when these 11th, 12th graders came to IIT Delhi, so I mean the faculty, I mean, who were like as jury evaluating their ideas, we thought, God, the generation has changed so much. When we were their age, we couldn't even stitch up a sentence together, and they're so mature. So I'm sure there is so much of untapped potential. So I think this needs to be taken forward.
I just wanted to add, like, right now, because of AIM government's AIM's initiative, there are so many adult tinkering labs that are sitting inside the schools. So if there is also a possibility to, you know, start a climate center in these schools, in which, you know, the students from the 12th grader, if they are trained on the basics around climate, so that exposure is given to them, they could take that initiative and also teach the students who are in 10th or 8th grades to understand more on climate, and this learning process could go on, continue over the years within the kids.
Great, thank you. And Sachin, you also have a point?
No, I had the same point. There are 10,000 Atal Tinkering Labs as a part of Atal Innovation Mission. They're all funded by the government just to create a system of prototyping and curiosity. And I think probably, Arjun, this is food for thought for you. You're working with higher learning institutions. Why not with schools?
Yeah, so I have an answer for you. We do have another program. It's called Climate Ninjas. So you can join the Climate Ninjas program. It's an online program where we take anybody who's passionate about climate entrepreneurship, regardless of age, regardless of education. All you need is hustle, passion, desire to build something. You can join. Our third cohort just kicked off. We basically have cohort of 40 to 50 students. They could be from anywhere. And we take them through 10 one-hour classes. Again, direct with founders. The founders are teaching about entrepreneurship, about opportunities. You can join that first and then stay engaged in the community, and who knows, you'll have a company in a year or 6 months.
I'm looking forward.
Thank you so much for coming up. Let's give a round of applause to Arna. Thank you. So I will come to you. Okay, why not? Go ahead. If it's short. We do need
really
yes,
short
please.
and it's very precise. Because
Okay.
I'm Professor Rupinder Oberoi from University of Delhi. So out of the UK-India education project, which I did for 3 years, we created a center for social innovation and social enterprise. I see there's a lot of vacuum around talking, because whenever we talk about ventures and startups, the concept of social innovation is very nuanced. And India has not really started talking about, but West is already doing that, because there's a social stock exchange also, which Canada has and UK has and some other countries has, even South Africa has. So out of this center, which I set up in 2020, we have around 300 students, and I can later on share my website. So we are particularly focused on this hybrid kind of an organization, which is taking on the concerns of triple P, profit, planet, and people. And we are training, we are doing mentorship program, we have pitching competition within Delhi University. And I'm also a fellow at Delhi School of Public Policy and Governance, and we have Udmodaya Foundation in Delhi University now under Section 8 company. So we're really driving our students not just to be confined to startup in terms of profitability, but start thinking in a different way, and sustainability and climate change automatically stitches into the concept of social entrepreneurship. So I wanted to draw this attention of the esteemed panelists here, that there is no talk, especially in IITs and BITS Pilani, about this special zone where the world is already, I think Stanford has and Yale has a special center on social innovation and social enterprise. So it's high time we also start talking about it. And I'm happy to collaborate and have a discussion on the sidelines about what we are doing in the space of Delhi University particularly.
Thank you. You could be one of the 6 partners we are looking for. Great. Thank you. So wonderful. Already seeing some engagement over here. Again, I would like to repeat what are the 3 groups we'll make. We'll do it only for 10 minutes. One is on problem statements. If you want to contribute there in the future or already have some problem statements to contribute, that group is here. The next one is on funding. The funding one is, which side was it? That side, funding. If you want to donate to the program, you want to invest in the startups that come out of it, or have other ideas or connections related to funding, you are on the back of this room or this side. And then the last one,
Mentorship.
about mentorship. Very good. And the mentorship group was over there. So these are the 3 groups. 10 minutes, you'll have to hustle. So thank you. If the speakers could join the respective areas, please. While this is happening, sorry, one more thing. There's a QR code. We don't want to miss out on anybody. There's a QR code on the screen. If you could just take out your camera, it'll take you 30 seconds to write down how you want to stay engaged in such ventures program going forward. You can just put down your email, number, and how you would like to contribute in future. And that would, allow us to know who you are and continue the engagement. So please do that. My colleagues have worked hard to make this happen. So QR code, put your name, number, how you'd like to engage, and then 10-minute discussion, please. Thank you so much. Music. Yeah, Tarun, if you could come over here. All right, people who are interested in this problem statements, on this side, please. Thank you. I know it's not convenient to mix up the room, but this is part of moving fast. Problem statements. Tarun, your task is to solicit support and inputs. And which one was it?
I was not in any.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, please join one of them. Sorry.
I was.
Yeah.
So I have to go.
Problem statements up front, money over there, mentorship over there. We can do a standing room as well. We have just 10 minutes. Let's go. So I'll ask all the moderators or the usherers to conclude in the next 2 minutes. Mentorship, funding, problem statements. If you haven't yet used the QR code, please do so. The QR code to upload your information, please. How do you want to help sustainability ventures? How do you want to be part of this journey? Okay, so I'm going to ask all the usherers back here to share what resources you've collected for sustainability ventures. Tarun, you ready? All right. So let's conclude our discussion and collect again as a group, please. Yeah, final 5 minutes. We'll share what we have found. Thank you very much. Just final few minutes. Final concluding minutes. Great to see so much energy, so much passion in the room, so many new connections being made. So Professor J, I'm going to ask you to come back. Wonderful. All right. So we're going to start. We're going to start with Professor Tarun from Masters Union, sharing with us on problem statements. If I can request people to just settle down for 5 minutes. Thank you so much. Great to see so much conversation. All right, robotics. I can hear a lot of robots towards my right. Great. So we just experienced some really good exchange. Great. Thank you. Thank you. So awesome exchange of ideas, of contacts, network to build this together. So thank you so much for contributing, participating. You have just acted like an entrepreneur in the last 10 minutes. So thank you for doing that. Now, we had given tasks to our panelists to go and get resources for this program. So we'll start with Tarun. Tarun, what did you get in terms of problem statements today and problem statements on an ongoing basis for our venture companies?
Yeah. I think some very interesting ideas. I'll start with the first one, which was around using hydrogen as a fuel. And I think again, as an idea, it has been around for quite some time. But how do we make it mainstream? How do we make it more affordable? How do we make it more accessible? And actually make it more clean? I think that's the idea. And
Wonderful.
I think one of the very interesting points and case studies that Sir mentioned was of Germany being a case study in that case, where they've already started using hydrogen in automobiles as a fuel. So that was one area. Second was on how do we make some of the renewables more affordable, because again there was a case study of somebody who wanted to, let's say, install solar, but the cost of installing solar, the cost of actually using it mainstream was higher than your traditional energy sources. So how do we bring down cost in all of these and make it again more affordable for everybody? Third was around rainwater harvesting, that a lot of people want to do that. It's a common problem in urban areas now. You have waterlogging and all of that, but there is no plug and play solution there, that if, let's suppose, I'm aware of the idea, I am supportive of the idea, but I don't know how do I make it happen in my society, in my apartment, in my residential area. So if there can be solutions around making rainwater harvesting more easy to implement in day-to-day lives. I think those were 3-4 common ones I would request.
Very nice and very different from each other. Thanks.
Sure.
Yes.
I'll just add on to what Tarun said. So one of the ideas was about climate education itself. That I think it was mentioned that 1/4 of the teachers, they have the intent to really they're passionate about climate education, but either they don't have the means, they don't understand it well, and by the time they get some sense of it, things change. So how can we be in this space, climate education. Second was, I think it was also mentioned about hydrogen. I mean, apart from electrolysis, are there any other ways to harvest that? Third was about this climate change or environmental problems could change from place to place. Delhi, it could be more about air pollution. Gujarat, it could be something else. Some other place could be something else. So how do you come up with a startup which caters to many different perspectives? And another concern was that profitability is one, but again the social entrepreneur side, that how do you make sure that the environmental sustainability is taken care of? And the last was that I have jotted down is a solar UV lamp was made for probably disinfection purposes, but that was not affordable enough. So how do you take it to grassroots levels?
Great, thank you. So let's round of applause. Thanks for everybody participating on this. Two observations to make here and things to share with this group. When we will take problem statements to this Sustainability Ventures course, it's going to be 10 levels more refined than this, because right now what we've heard is an area, hydrogen. Within hydrogen, there are 100 companies that need to be created. So when we will take our job to seed the course with very specific problem statements, and that's what really turns into a business. Otherwise 6 months will go in just discussing about what to solve, right? You can't solve everything in hydrogen, but what specifically? Is it to make the electrolyzer 20% more efficient? That's a business. Is it to find a new type of grease, right, that can eliminate frictional losses? That's another business. So we are going to get down to that level, and so that the real companies can be created, right? But thanks. I think we start with the area and then drill down. So we'll go on to the next group. Next group was about mentorship. So how about our mentorship group? What did we find? How many mentors did we find for Sustainability Ventures companies? Where do we look?
Yeah, so I think we found 2-3 people who are ready to mentor themselves, like become a mentor themselves and offer their network. One of course was a BITS Pilani entrepreneur. So yeah, goes without saying, the BITS Pilani alumni network will be available for this course, and we just have to reach out and identify right people. We also have an investment banker and a CA, Ms. Priyanka and Mr. Naman, who offered their help in terms of projections and creating pitch decks or reviewing pitch decks.
Great.
So we have taken down their details. I'll share it with you.
Wonderful.
What we have also, I think, pretty interesting idea in terms of capitalizing on networks such as retired teachers and retired corporates. I think you'll have to probably reach out or do an outreach to specifically get those people, because I think it's a wealth of knowledge that they have, and they would also have time and inclination to join this effort. So it's difficult to reach out to those networks, but yeah, I think worth taking a look at.
Great.
Yeah, in terms of sessions, I think primarily it will be online sessions, but if you can do in-person sessions locally, I think that will be great as well. So Gurgaon could be the place where an in-person session can happen. So those are things we talked about. Very importantly, we'll need a curator or a coordinator, because what we feel is mentor-mentee relations tend to drop out because both people have their own life and they have jobs. So if someone from SAS Mafia can be the curator or coordinator and set accountabilities for both mentors and mentees, I think that will work good, like in terms of overall efficiency. We'll of course help you in this.
Great.
Yeah.
Wonderful. I think you covered both. Like, you got real people to put their hands in the mix. You got networks, ideas where to tap in, and also how to make it effective. So great job. I think you
Yeah,
have
just want to mention
you hit it out of the park.
Yeah, just want to mention the IC Sangam also would like to.
Sangam, yeah, Sangam
offer,
has a
their,
good
their
network.
network.
We would like
their
to
entrepreneurs.
also we have a network pool of huge mentor network pool. We will be sharing that as well, and I personally can also mentor 1 or 2 startups.
Lovely, excellent. And from finally, SAS Mafia has 60 entrepreneurs, 60 founders in climate companies. We are already mentoring each other, but we would like to extend that to this this class as well. So I'm sure all of our founders will at least take 1 or 2 opportunities, specifically if this is relevant to their area of innovation. Wonderful. So we already heard a request from Sachin about SAS Mafia playing some roles in doing some work. That means we'll also need to beef up our teams and our programs. That brings me to the last point, which is about money. Right? We all need money to be able to do what we want to do here. We all clapped twice and said this is something we want to do. So the third group was about money. How do we bring resources to the program and to the startups in the program?
Yeah,
Right?
thanks Arjun, and our group has discussed on the money, and I think this is the most simplest part what we can bring into the for any venture. But more importantly, one should have a very solid and idea which has to be connected to the grassroots level. So if those things are there, the money is not a problem. There are many partners who can help us. That what we discussed in our forum. Like let's talk about where is the problem. The question has come, our young generation, the students, they are not coming. They are mostly going into the service sector. Mostly they are migrating from a country to the rest of the world. The reason is this, there is a gap. They come up with a great technology, they have come up with a prototype, but where is the stopover for a translational research? So I think this gap has to be filled, and we have to ensure some packages for these budding entrepreneurs so that they can sustain in this transition phase. That is very important for these budding entrepreneurs so that they can serve to the country. So there are various initiatives we discussed, like if we talk about the BIREC from the Department of Biotechnology, they used to give a grant to this, but we really request to the philanthropists, they have to have some kind of CSR fund dedicated to support these financial wages to these students, those scholars after coming to their professional degree, so that they can satisfy their aspirations. Because at the larger scale, later on the money is not a problem. But money is a problem, like a newborn baby is a need more support. Similarly, that this venture, the budding entrepreneurs really need a support. So that is small support can really help.
Yeah.
Even though this is one, and the second is that later on, now the government has started various schemes. The DSI are giving a good fund going up to the 5 crores, 10 crore rupees to the good ideas with a very minimal interest that can be considered. The TDP Technology Development Board is giving even the loans to the some crores, even going to the 100-200 crores rupees loans also for a best ideas. Even sometime in a proof of concept also they are giving idea. NRDC, recently the 15th of September, there is a call of up to 1 crore rupees. These are grant in aid. You need not to, I mean to say, this is grant in aid. And later on you can go with a loan basis. So certain these kind of schemes has to be identified for the budding engineers, entrepreneurs, and later on it can be taken into the larger
Great
scale.
point. In
so
fact,
that's what is very important,
yeah.
and I really request to all of you, what has happened, even though the venture capitalists, they pitch into to taking these to support these, but most of the time it has been found that it has started a business. Don't start a business with these budding entrepreneurs at the beginning. Okay, try to them, they should mature first and then enter into the business. But what happened in the first instance, you are talking about that what is the equity, where is the equity, where I am going to gain. That is not, this model is, I think we have to just extend a bit. They should stabilize themselves and then we should go into the venture. That are all we have discussed in our group. I mean to say, some of my thoughts we discussed, and our group is all ready to help each other.
Wonderful.
Towards providing a funding, and I really feel funding is not a difficult at all. Only thing is that come up with the passion and the good ideas.
That's really good news. Thank you. Mostly founders are crying about money. You're saying it's not very difficult. So I'm going to give your phone number to everybody who says it's difficult. Yes, Sachin.
So just want to mention that how government channelizes money is through incubators, and we are one of the incubators, technology business incubator. AIC Sangam is incubator. All institutions, I think all good institutions, private, government, they will have an incubator, and grants ranging from and equity less grants ranging from I think 2 lakhs to 20 lakhs are available. BIRAC that sir talked about, I think gives 50 lakhs grant, again goes through the incubator. So incubator is the focal point where you will get the money in the beginning. So it makes sense to also join hands with the collective of incubators. It's called ISBA. It's Indian Step and Business Incubators Association. So it has around 300 members across country, like northeast, south, everywhere. So you will have many takers because incubators are looking for startups. So
wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that resource. Excellent. So good to see so many ideas. Thank you guys. You guys are rock stars. Wonderful. So I think we'll conclude the session with Dr. Bhuj and my colleague Saksham. First, I'd like to acknowledge Saksham. He's leading SAS Mafia. So thanks to him for putting up a great event here. And Dr. Bhuj for encouraging our idea and making it happen at this amazing event and meeting all of you. So we have a very special gift for all of our panelists. That gift is from one of our SAS Mafia companies. One of the companies, they make sunglasses out of chips packets. So every one of them gets a pair of sunglasses made out of chips. And on it is a QR code. You can trace the plastic, where that plastic was originated, how it transformed into a sunglasses. So that's the gift for all these people. Dr. Bhuj, couple of words from you, and Saksham, if you would like to.
Oh, really amazing session. It's not that. I think all of you were so, it was so engaging, energetic. In fact, Saksham met me first in the month of March, I remember. In Lucknow, we were in a typical G20 event, and we spent almost 3 hours discussing about this because we are least interested into all those the official proceedings. And this resulted in meeting Arjun and his other colleagues. I was a bit doubtful that he could, in such a short period, he could create this wonderful session and all those wonderful people from the top institutions of the world. Really, this whole ecosystem is so much changed now. I remember some 20 years back, I was with the MIT group, I was with the UNESCO. IIT Bombay was set up by UNESCO, and there was some collaboration discussions which never took off. Of course, there were all the resources, ideas, everything. Lately, I was with IIT Guwahati, Professor Katiyar is here, and there was a group, of course, International Year of Light, which UNESCO was spearheading. There was a brilliant idea of how this photosynthesis with sun energy, like plants, they create the energy through solar. So how that artificial photosynthesis, and that was discussed. And I don't think the IITG is anymore. There were a lot of young students is anymore continuing with those ideas. I think, Arjun, your sustainability mafia, the word mafia itself is so powerful. And within 3 months, you just gave an idea. We discussed many rounds of discussion with his team over virtual, physical, and finally he's promised that we will come out with 100 sustainability ventures. That's really so encouraging. I think we all are with you. I think everyone, Mr. Pradeep Burman, who supports such ideas, he's all for it. a real sustainability crusader. He sat throughout this session, and with all of you, wonderful people, I think my heart, my everything is with you. I retired from UNESCO, came to Mr. Burman. We curated this beautiful, this wonderful conference, which is in its 5th year. Continuously, even during COVID period, we continued with this. So it's never stopping and uninterrupted, and I think sustainability, that is what means. So it should never stop. The ideas, ventures, everything. I think we will succeed. So thank you so much. Give them a big hand.
Arjun, if you can allow, I would also ask Mr. Bowman to, spare 2 minutes.
Yes.
If you want to talk about the session, give your thoughts as well.
No, I think the session was absolutely outstanding, and we have the distinguished panelists over here, and each one of them gave good ideas on how to go about doing this 100 entrepreneurship programs, and I think it will take off and it will be the start of another mushrooming idea. Thank you very much.
Okay, so we can close the session now, and we can, facilitate our guest, of course. Can I ask Mr. Bhuj and Arjun to facilitate our panelists with very cool sunglasses, which is one of the mafioso company from the tribe. Can we get the sunglasses, please?
Jay.
Sure, that's what I'll do next.
No, we got to open them up, yeah. And the entire box is also sustainable, from everything inside to outside.
Nice. Very cool.
Sheshi from Sangam Ventures.
Thanks, Tarun, for being the first champion of this program. Professor Vimal, we know where to come for money. And Sachin from BITS. Thank you so much. Okay. And last thing, we're going to have a group photo from the top. And so I'll request everybody to go down and congregate near Mr. Burman, and everybody can come in together a little bit. And we'll take another photo. And I'll request
two special glasses as well. One obviously for Mr. Ram and one Mr. for Burman.
Yeah, so Saksham, please, for Mr. Burman. Yeah, we'll take a photo down. So, Rohan? Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, we'll take a group photo.
Mr. Ram, for you as well.
If everybody can stand up, we'll take a group photo. Any other people creating Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
I think I would just like to thank everyone, and just last, if you haven't signed the code, please do it. Our volunteers here, team members here, we're going to stay around for some time. If there are any questions you want to participate, feel free to drop in. Happy to help you out. And I don't think so there could have been a better way to actually inaugurate this entire program. We're super excited. Again, would like to thank our entire panel for being here, being so actionable, and really looking forward to kickstart this. So thank you, everyone. Have a good day.